Whether you agree or disagree, at this point, all I have to say is that it was flippin' brilliant, all right? We have been talking about Niki Sky and her viral video, It's a Lie, selling all of her luxury handbags for like 2 weeks now. And I wish I could have that much free advertising for my platform. Everybody's been linking her video and talking about what she said. And whether you empathize with her journey or whether you totally disagree, it's got us all talking. So this is my reaction video, and I'm also going to be hitting on several of the other reaction videos in the community that I've been watching and enjoying and appreciating all the different points that have been raised about this issue. So let's get into it. All right, so as my backdrop, I have a few props here, and I have chosen completely non-branded bags to just sort of have and play with in this video while I talk through some of my thoughts related to this topic. This backdrop was inspired by the handbag housewife. She did an exercise where she was like, okay, well, if Niki is going to get rid of all of her obviously branded logoed bags, then I'll do the same. And she trimmed down her collection from like 79 bags down to like 17 or something like that. And she still had some bags in there though that were definitely branded. And Rakita from Rakita's Closet brought up a really good point where she was like, look, you know, if you are in the luxury space, you're going to recognize one of these bags regardless of whether or not it has a loud logo on it. So it might be, you know, sort of performative for the rest of society who might not be in the know, but for the people who are actually in the handbag community, we all know what a luxury bag is, right? Like, we're going to recognize a Loewe puzzle bag. We're going to recognize an Hermes Picotin, whether or not it has a big H on it or some big branding, right? So to get rid of all of her logoed bags, for example, like Niki was very vague in what that would mean for her. She just had a lot of footage of her grabbing up all of her Chanel bags off of her shelf and sort of, you know, toting them away like her big Louis Vuitton keep all, right? Like, these are things that she's getting rid of. And so, you know, they're obviously like loud luxury and she just can't stand to wear loud luxury anymore. Okay, well, I did that same exercise and I have about 3 bags, folks. All right. So, yeah, this is a very vintage Coach bag. I don't even know the name or style of this pretty little thing. It desperately needs a spa. I need to do a restoration on it. I literally have not done much for this since I picked it up in a thrift store in my city, but it is a beautiful old bag, and it's style number 0411101. For those of you who know your old Coach, you can let me know what this is. I've really never seen it anywhere else, so I love it. I never plan to part with it, but it doesn't even have like a dog chain on it. And so I feel like I could wear this anywhere and no one would know that it's a Coach bag. And then you remember these circle bags from the, what was it, late 2010s? I feel like this is like all 2018, 2019 trend right here, complete with the fun Amazon bag charm, right? Like, this bag is, you know, a really lovely bag that was handmade, and I purchased it from a seller on Amazon. It smells like raffia still. It has that like really lovely handmade smell to it. The leather is authentic. There are a lot of dupes of this kind of a bag on Amazon, and I made sure that I found one that was like quality leather, quality construction pieces. So I paid a little bit more for this bag, but it was still under like the $50 mark, and I have loved it. This is like my go-to vacation resort bag. And then, you know, I recently did a little thread-up shopping, and this was a little unbranded bag, little wicker bag. I just love the shape of this thing. I've carried it a few times now, and it is so fun and functional. Get compliments on it, and I mean, it was literally like 25 bucks. So, you know, there are definitely gems to be had in the thrifting world. Just keep an eye out for silhouettes that really resonate with you. Like, you don't have to spend a lot of money to still have an at-a-glance aesthetic that's really chic and fashionable. Okay, off of my sort of description of these particular bags, but everything else in my collection I think is pretty noticeable as some kind of designer bag. And spoiler alert, I'm not getting rid of them. I don't want to get rid of my bags. And Niki, honey, I am a mom too. I have 3 little kids, all right? And yes, like, is a Birkin practical for my everyday life? No. But do I carry it with my kids? No. All right? Like, I have a range of bags that go from very carefree to very high maintenance. And I pick and choose which ones I use when I'm with my kids, when I'm traveling for work, when I'm just going to a local coffee shop, when I'm going shopping, when I'm going to brunch with friends, when I'm going out on date night, right? Like, we all have different bags for different purposes. And other people have pointed this out too. There's a different season for things, right? I think Deb from Wild Unfiltered was like, look, like, she might regret this in a few years because, you know, those of us who are moms and, or, you know, folks, parents who've had kids, we've been through the small kid phase. And whether you're still living it now or whether you're past that, you recognize that, like, seasons change in your life. You're going to have different needs for different eras of your life. And to totally get rid of all of your expensive bags because you're in a season where you're going to have sticky fingers clinging to you seems a little short-sighted. My personal feeling about all of this, about all of what Niki's doing, somebody left this in the comments and I didn't screenshot it, so I don't know like where it was as a comment, but I've seen it mentioned. People are predicting that she is going to come out with her own line of some kind of quiet luxury thing, like a dress up your purse-esque kind of, you know, sort of mid-range luxury or like affordable competitor where she's going to have her own brand that she's going to start pushing. And suddenly that's the new direction, right? Like, that's the awakening, is that she is not going to be doing the luxury thing anymore. And she's pivoted from getting us to buy luxury things to getting us to buy her things. So in that regard, I think she's absolutely genius if this is true. And we are all poised and like wrapped with attention on what she does next. So I think, you know, if that's true, and, you know, I kind of suspect that it is, I am not, disclaimer here, a big Niki Sky follower. I did not really watch her channel often. I'm kind of like not into the like really, really pretty rich girl aesthetic, right? Like the really, really pretty models who have like 500,000 followers and have these huge, big, outrageous collections. Like, I'm not into living that kind of vicarious life because it's like too far outside of my reality, right? Like, I don't need to watch Lydia Elise Millen to, you know, sort of experience like, oh, this is what it would like to be a model and, you know, to have Birkins that I could just, you know, turn around and sell at a moment's notice because I've just grown tired of them and I'm going to pivot my closet, right? Like, these are all of these influencers who are going through like their personal awakening and like downsizing because they've realized that their things don't bring them joy. Well, they probably also don't have mortgage payments, or they probably don't all, you know, do their own laundry for their entire family once a week, or, you know, have lots of chores or anything else, right? Like, these are people who have the luxury to cycle their closet dramatically when and how they choose, right? And I think that that is largely disconnected from how the rest of us do life, you know? And I think that a lot of people have touched on this in their videos. I'm thinking of Rakita, who was hilarious, by the way. If you need to laugh about this whole situation, go watch Rakita's video. I immediately subscribed to her channel after just stumbling upon her reaction, and it was golden. So please go check that out. But, you know, like Connor from The Closet by Connor was a little more scathing in his review and just like didn't have a whole lot of empathy for her. Whereas Caitlin Pawlowski, had a lot of empathy for where Niki was at because Caitlin herself has gone through a similar transformation and pivoting of her channel. And in a way, she's kind of like the OG, you know, like closet downsizer. Like, Caitlin was doing it before it was cool, y'all. Like, you know, and I've really enjoyed the direction that Caitlin is taking her channel since. And so I think Caitlin was a lot more empathetic to the journey that influencers like Niki Sky are on, right? I think a lot of this comes down to, you got to do what's best for you. All right. If you truly feel duped, like you have been led by these influencers to buy all of these luxury bags, and now you're so bitter that you've spent all this money, right? Because it's no longer cool. Then sure, girl, by all means, like, sell your bags or do whatever you need to do to find peace within yourself. Okay. You shouldn't be seeking validation on the internet anyway. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know, Niki had a whole point about, you know, trying to essentially keep up with the Joneses, right? Like it's so important that we buy these things because we're all in this rat race of trying to one up one another, you know? And I think Amelia Rose from Amelia Rose's Closet was one of the first that I saw to say, like, what other videos are you watching, girl? Like, we all are pretty supportive of one another. And Rakita said this too. It's like, look, we are in a new age. It is like pro women, right? Like, we are here to support one another. And if you are a person who has a beautiful luxury collection, awesome. Like, if you love those bags and you're going to continue to use those bags, have at it. Okay. Like, we don't need to be here competing with one another. We all have shit to do. We have our real lives. We are not going to be out here like ragging on each other and trying to like keep up with one another. It is a non-competitive space. All right. Handbag culture. We are a safe space for people on the internet to get together and love on bags, whether they are a cheap bag from Amazon or something that you have played the game for and you have just dropped like an obscene amount of money at Hermes. I fall into both of those categories. Okay. And I don't feel any shame about that. And I don't think I should feel shame about that, right? Like, I am making choices for my own collection that will stand the test of time, because the purpose of luxury is to have smart, fun, and functional choices that fit your real life and not your fantasy life. And that's sort of been the motto of my channel, right? Like, let's make choices that really fit who we are as people and not feel bad about it and not feel guilty. And you know what? On some level, it feels like Niki is just sort of having this awakening just now that like capitalism is bad and it tries to like manipulate us into buying more and more, which to me feels really naive. And like, it's almost a little unbelievable that, you know, like a lot of people have mentioned like eye rolling through her whole video. And I don't know her well enough to like be able to take that seriously or what, but you know, if she's just now coming to this place where she wants to be more authentic with her spending, then I think that's progress, right? And I think it's great that we have somebody with 500,000 subscribers promoting self-actualization. Like, go off, sis. Like, yes, we should all be making more thoughtful choices, more sustainable choices for our planet, more sustainable choices for our wallets, right? Like, it's okay to downsize and actually appreciate what you use, right? Like, Marie Kondo your closet, like, go for it. Like, that is totally fine. I have nothing against that. But like Rakita said, don't shame the rest of us who want to hang on to our luxury things. All right. Like, we are not implicated in the journey. Those of us who are confident and feel smart with what we've acquired and happy, like, let us alone. Okay. You know, I think it's okay that there's variation here. There are shades of gray. And for many of us who are on like a low buy year, like, we're already kind of on this path with you. Okay. So don't tell people that they need to sell all their stuff while at the same time trying to link all of your handbags to your followers for them to buy. There's some weird mixed messaging happening there. I just think, you know, like, it's fine. Whatever it is, it's fine. Just don't be so dramatic about it. I think her bringing the level of drama that she did to her decluttering, first of all, and when I was looking at those videos, I was like, yeah, right. This woman has such an enormous closet. She has contracted an outside service to come in and help her categorize and like resell her stuff. Good for you. But also, like, something else is going to fill up that closet eventually. And it could all just be an act, right? I think other people have mentioned like, this could all just be an act. She could just be boxing this stuff up for the one video and then actually unpacking half of it again and keeping several items that she doesn't actually want to sell. And I'm okay with that if you want to like pack some things away and see if you miss them, right? Like, that is a classic decluttering tactic. Let's see if you actually miss the things that you have. And if you don't, then sure, part ways with them. But if you do, you don't need to sell them. And that way you won't have regrets later. So I don't know. I feel like this has been kind of a rambling video, but ultimately, you know, for you and for those of you watching who want to just feel like you're more secure in your own collection, you do you, all right? Don't be influenced by other people unless you actually think that the items you are purchasing are going to enhance your collection and your life in some way. All right. If you are literally just buying because of the FOMO, then you will probably regret those decisions. And it's okay to take a step back at that point. If you realize that that's the cycle you're getting into, step back, reevaluate, figure out the things that actually fit your lifestyle and invest in those, because that's where you're going to be happiest. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to have you back, so please do consider subscribing if you haven't yet. I am really trying to grow this channel and I really appreciate your support. So have a wonderful day and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.